Hey everyone, this is Kevin with InventMark, and today it's not really a tutorial, it's kind of a how-to on how to figure out the get a cylinder into a flat plane. I did some math and kind of figured it out a little bit more. It's my second take on doing this. I did it wrong the first time, but that's why you gotta try things to figure it out. Anyway, I just mocked up this little thing. I just put some weird, strange things around the entire object, make it just not a plain cylinder, just something unique, and just created a box around it. This is centered, this is centered. I just rotated this to where the high point is. If you imagine this is the high point there, this little sphere there is kind of the high point, and you want to make this box bigger than that high point. And so what we want to do is add another cube, and I want to change the origin to the edge here. Let's set origin to the 3D cursor. Cursor to center. Selection of cursor. Now we can figure out the radius with this cube here. So if we size this up, kind of size it like that, we can get the diameter of the object on the exterior there. And so that's the longest point that we would have to go out. So we want to use that for the main calculation for everything. And so that now that we know that, we can actually calculate what the circumference is going to be on the entire thing, on the outside radius of the object. And that also helps us determine the width on the object. And to do that, we're going to take calculator. I actually have a button on my mouse that opens the calculator, because I use the calculator enough to require that. So we want to take that times 2. Actually, no, we want to take pi times 2 times that number well, it's 13.459 before, but this is close enough for our estimations here. So the circumference that we're going to be working with is going to be 84.5, just to round it off. And so what we need to do is we need to take that number. I have a whole bunch of different calculators that open. Not that one. Not that one. Let's open a new one. So 84.5. So whatever, or however many slices we plan on making of this object, we need to divide this number by that to get the width of the slice that we're going to be making. I plan on doing this only 20 slices to get the entire object all the way around, simply because 20 is just a simple demonstration for this. You really would probably want to use as many as you can. 360 and just moving at 1 degree would probably be the most efficient and best looking, just for general random use. You could make it more than that if you wanted, so that every degree you could have 2 slices per degree. And so if you had 360 degrees, you divide this number by 360, and then you get how thick you wanted the slice to be. So that number, I'm just going to do 20 and divide it by 20, gives us 4.225. So this cut here needs to be 4.225. So that's the width of the slice that we're going to be taking out of each slice all the way around. And I'm going to size this up on the Z, so that when we take it out of this object, we have the slice there. And I also need to make this bigger than that, so we can cut the channel out of it. Boolean difference, cube, apply. Now we can delete this. We don't need that anymore. So now we just have this thing that's going to take a slice out of this for every certain amount of degrees that we rotate it. Okay, so this, I rotated it to get a weird degree, so I'm going to put that back to 0. So it's back at 0. And what I'm going to do is add a Boolean difference, and then select the cube. And so that it takes everything out of the cube except for the slice that we want to cut out of it. And I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this cube so that we have 2 copies of it now. We got that one that's there. Because of the difference Boolean, it takes out everything that's not the cube, or not the object. So that we have 2 copies of that now. So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. And that leaves us with this copy that doesn't have the rest of the object. So we have that slice there. And so just move that there. So we have a copy of that slice. And I'm going to add, oh, I forgot to show you, I skipped a step. For the rotation of this, we could take 360 degrees. We want to figure out what we need to rotate it every time. And to rotate it, we need to rotate that by, or we're going to do 20 slices, so we need to rotate that by 20, which would be 18 degrees. We have to, so 360 divided by 20 equals 18 degrees. So we take this number, whatever it is, it could be any number, and with Blender you can actually do math right in the box, or 18. And so that rotated the object 18 degrees. And then before I apply it, I'm going to duplicate it again after I add the degrees. That way each time I just add 18 degrees and it does it. So I do that, and then now we have 2 objects again. And then hit apply. And then we have the next object here. It's not going to line up perfectly, but it's going to be halfway decent. Actually, kind of lines up a little bit with a little bit of overlap there. Looks like it, maybe. I'll find out, and I'll keep doing it. So we take this, and I'll show you one more time here. Plus 18, duplicate it, apply it, and just keep going. Okay, so it looks like it is overlapping it a little bit, but that's okay. What I can do is show you in the end how you can kind of combine all of these. But I'm going to go ahead and go through all of these and just do a little speed up the video so that you don't have to sit through me watching all of these. Let's go ahead and keep doing it then. Shouldn't take me too long. Okay, I don't need to do that again because we should have 20 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so that's 20 slices. So we can close that Boolean, hide this object, and we should have somewhat close of a representation of this cylinder here. So if you see, if I go move it around, actually I can just click this and see that it kind of pans everything out into the flat plane there. But what I want to check to see how long this is, because this should be 84. So I'm just going to create a cube. And do 84. And so for some reason it didn't quite work out that well. I do have gaps in between each of these though. But what you could probably do would be to go like this and kind of overlap each one. Won't get you an exact representation, but it'll get you pretty close. Either the slices too big, or it was just I did the far out distance too much. It might have been better if I would have done this side right here, like in the midpoint. So I actually think I'm going to try that and see if that will work better or not. But this is kind of just the general idea of how to get this to kind of work. But that's kind of how it works. I'm going to play around with the distance on the radius to see which works best here. Because that seems, it's like doubling up the images a little bit, and if I try it from just like the median point on the outside of where the minimum spot is, see if that will have a better effect or not, and see if that works. Anyway, that's it for this, and I'm gonna go ahead and try doing that. If it makes any difference, I'll come back and let you know. But okay, so I did it with the distance of the radius go to the edge here. The results seem to be way better with that. So I think that probably want to try the minimum or do somewhere in between the outer edge and the lower inner edge. Because if you look over at this specific sphere here, the distortion gets worse the further away that you go from center. Because these little cylinders there seem to be doing fine. And there's a mild distortion with everything, but the more slices you do, the better it will look anyway. So this is just a kind of like a low poly version, kind of. But the idea works, and hopefully this will help out in being able to figure out what to do with it. So you take the radius of the slices you want to do. Probably the lowest you want to go is the minimum of the radius of the entire object. Like if it goes down to here, you want to get that detail in it, because if you put it over here, you're going to lose some detail here or lose it out here, but it'll be most accurate right here. Because this, like the most accurate ones that lined up the best are the ones that are closer to the center. The ones that are further away, they have more of a height difference on them. Anyway, that's kind of how to get everything together. And what you can do to add these all together is kind of put them as close as you can to each other and overlap it a little bit, and kind of do a Boolean, just select every other one and Control J and join them together, and do the same with the other half, and then you can join them all together on one thing. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of how to get the outside part of an object into a plane. As far as I know, that's the only way to do it. So anyway, thanks for watching.